So I'm here in the Hope Hub with Sharo and Lex. It's such a phenomenal space, guys. Been running for about 3 years. Coffee shop, community centre, loads of activities going on here. So why don't you let me know a little bit about what you use this amazing space for?
So to go back before that, the heart of why we started this place was the work that we do in the government-run orphanages. And that was the intention that we came with. This stuff that kind of was a catalyst to why we created Hope Hub. We saw these young guys who were ending up homeless or in prison, and we wanted something better for them. So we wanted to create a safe space for them to be trained and to be added to us as apprentices. So that was the kind of the trigger to why Hope Hub was started.
So we were thinking, like, what would be a good kind of place for these young men to come and train and work? What would be a good environment? And the thing that jumped out was a coffee shop, not just because we love drinking good coffee, but because it's just an environment where they could just feel welcomed and accepted by the community. And then also, as it's grown, we've realised it's really important for us that the community that we're placed in, we're investing in. And so we've thought of all different kind of weekly events that we can put on, which would be a blessing to the community. So we have English language cafes, book clubs, games nights, films clubs. Every week we have different events every evening, because we wanted this to be like a space where people in the community can come, feel welcomed. There are people that are quite isolated socially, and they now have a space that they can come to and have community.
And I've got my coffee here, which was made for me by one of your apprentices, and it's really, really nice. So loving that. How are you finding that apprenticeship program working for the young men?
So actually, when we created it, the criteria that we wanted to get to was to get the boys coming when they're 16. So they have 2 years with us, where we've got a whole curriculum that we've created from lots of different experts or friends of ours who helped us shape this curriculum. So that was our initial criteria. But when we started, we had 2 boys who were already 19 and were already out of the orphanage. So it was putting out fires, so supporting them. So it was a quick kind of reaction initially. So our first 2 cohorts of people that we took, we said we'll take 3 boys at a time. So the first 2 cohorts of boys that we took, the first 3 and then the other 3, it was putting out fires because they were already out of the orphanage. So then that was a real challenge, because myself and Shavad, who runs this, we were trying to work out and find our feet, because we'd never done anything like this. So we're learning on the go and then trying to figure out how we support them. So initially putting them up in hotels, trying to find accommodation, while also trying to train them and really just shape them as in their character, so they felt strengthened and enabled to stand on their own 2 feet, which is really important, because in our community, people naturally, you need your family, you need people around you to get jobs, to get anywhere in life. And these boys were isolated. So we need to create a community for them, where then when people are asking, can I employ them? Who do I go to for reference? We were going to be the references. So initially it was just creating that, but now finally we've reached the stage where we've actually, the cohort of boys we're taking out are actually 16. So we're at the criteria that we wanted to be. Not completely answering your question yet, but so I think we're finding our feet and we feel like we're in the rhythm of where we want to be, where we've actually now got the boys that when they're 16. And it's been a challenge. There's a lot of daily challenges, but also it's incredibly beautiful. So seeing these young men do so well in life, all of them are doing quite well. They all have their challenges, but all in all, we see the difference that this apprenticeship program has made in their lives.
So the Hope Hub is only one of your projects. There's Hope for Communities here in Slimani in Iraqi Kurdistan. This week, I had the privilege also of meeting some of the young women who are on the scholarship program to university, which is it's an unbelievably beautiful thing, taking young women from disadvantaged backgrounds and sponsoring them to go to the best university in the country. And the women I've met are just so smart, so full of life and potential. It's just stunning. So tell me about the scholarship program.
Yeah, so the scholarship program came out of a community that we've been investing in for about 8 years. It's a community of internally displaced and refugees, like migratory background community. And there's a lot of struggles for that community in terms of education, health, healthcare. They kind of are used to kind of receiving the lowest standards of everything. And we, our heart as an organisation is to see hope brought into communities that have lost hope. And so when we first found this community, there are amazing people, but there was a sense of hopelessness because there were people that were just stuck in this situation, and there was a cycle of poverty that was just repeating. And so we just wanted to see how we could help, how we could bring hope. So the first thing we did was just spend time with the community and asking, what can we do? How can we help? And the thing that was unanimous from the community was English language classes, because the community recognised that learning English helps with future job opportunities, helps with future education. So that's where we started, and it's through the English language classes that we've had these young women who've been with us learning English for 8 years, coming, at the moment we're there 5 days a week, so coming every day, learning English, learning confidence, growing in confidence in who they are. And so through that, we've been able to see how just so much potential that these young women have, but they just haven't been given the opportunity. And so we've been able to support them to gain scholarships. So that's just been such a joy to see. I think when we first went into this community 8 years ago, it would have been like a dream. Like now when I'm going with these young women into the university and they're saying, this is my dream, and I'm there like, this is our dream. Like we couldn't imagine that when we'd first gone in, that something so wonderful could happen for these communities. But these young women, they deserve it. Like we're always saying to them, like it is their kind of, they are amazing, they are strong, they are brilliant, they are putting in all the hard work, but they just didn't have anyone like standing with them and giving them opportunities. So that's all we're doing. And we feel really privileged to be able to do that.
Yeah, I mean, one of the young women that we met a couple of days ago, she was telling a story about how she's getting top marks and it's this top university because one of your values, which I just think is outstanding, is the best for the least. So she's from the least background, but she's at the best university. And how one of the more privileged rich kids came up to her and sort of told her to back off a little bit and tone it down because she was doing so well and kind of making everyone else look bad. And I just think, isn't that extra? I mean, where do you think it could go, the scholarship program? What would be your hope over the next few years?
Oh, the hope would just be to see as many people as we are privileged to be able to help. And it's not just us that carry this. So our kind of initial scholarship students, they carry this as well. So they're doing all they can do to try and help other people in the community. I think what's been really powerful is that sometimes in more conservative communities, education for girls and women can be like devalued, and the importance of it can be devalued. And so we now have these examples of young women who are going to bring change for themselves, for their whole family, for their wider community through like what this opportunity will create. And we just hope that will also be an encouragement to the whole community to realise the power there is in education, and just open up doors and opportunity. Like we're always just wanting to help as many people as we can. And
Sharo, you've been on the phone a lot this week when you were supposed to be looking after me, trying to sort out nursing care for this really sad situation, this really sick baby in one of the government orphanages where you've been involved in helping. How's that going? What does that look like for you, apart from being on the phone all the time to the head of social services and all these places? Like, what's your hope for this baby at the moment?
So I think the hope would be the best care. So that's always our heart. We want to give the best to any situation we go in, and what I do is a small part of that. So we're doing this as a whole team, and it's reflected in the whole team. So the whole team are giving the best of what they can into each community that we work in, into each environment, into each people's lives. And that's something that we're doing all together, which is amazing. So I think me being on the phone is a very small portion of that. But I think what our hope is the situation with this child is incredibly complex, and it's a really painful situation, and it's live. It's happening on the go, so you have to react on the go. But that's something that as a team we're aware of. So that's something that we all carry. So a lot of our situations are ongoing. It's daily. It's not just one-off events. Sadly, this is just one of many. Like this is the one that you've walked because you've been in our house, but the rest of the team are doing the same thing throughout the whole week. They're all constantly also dealing with quite complex life situations, whether it's with the apprentices. There's some really complex situations happening all the time that they're having to manage, but they're just excellent. So they just deal with it. It doesn't need me. But this was just one thing, nothing that I was dealing with, but everyone else is also doing that, like with Barika, with the scholars, with other situations. But I think our hope is always, we know courage and hope is contagious. So if we just show courage, we show hope, it's contagious. And for this baby, it's a reflection of our values. So we don't know how long this baby's sad situation is. We don't know how long she'd have left. So in that short space of time, we just want her to receive the love and care that she deserves. So we believe she deserves that. So it was just providing this a very simple package of care that the government are amazing. The guys that are working there are incredible, but they are limited in their resources. So we just wanted to partner and get alongside them, which is what they've asked for. So supporting them with the nursing care that this child needed to have a good end to life where necessary.
So, guys, I mean, I've been saying this to you every day, but I just think it's extraordinary what Hope for Communities have been achieving here in Slimani over the time that you've been here. You know, the Hope Hub, it's a fantastic space. The apprenticeship program, the scholarship program, your work with the government orphanages, your work in the Barika community through the Children's Centre there. You're employing loads of local staff. You're having, and I love this idea that hope is contagious and tangible. And if it changes the lives of a few people, then that can cascade into the lives of other people. I love this idea that you want the best for the least. I just think that's such a stunning, stunning principle. And in the car this morning on the way here, Lex, you were saying in the same day, you can have incredibly amazing stories and incredibly traumatic stories. And so I just think your resilience, your courage, your hope that this community can be transformed through the love and the care that you're showing. It's just an example to all of us. So yeah, thank you guys so much. Thanks for looking after me. Thanks for all the nice food while I've been here. And yeah, keep going and doing what you're doing, eh?